Sooner Scoop HD.
Just, what is kind of the team's response been since the loss in those first couple of days of practice?
So, obviously frustrating about the loss, but I would say we know what it's like during the season. We know there's ups and downs. There's always a roller coaster. It doesn't matter how good you are. So, and you're always going to be challenged. We know we're going to get the best out of every team that we face, and we expect that. We want that. We desire that. So, this loss, I wouldn't say it was a wake-up call. It was just another lesson that we got to focus on our details, that we got to focus on how hard we practice, how disciplined we are, and it's probably the best thing we needed, honestly. Let that fire again, you know.
Reggie said yesterday that he felt like there were some aspects of the practice and preparation was really detailed. How did you kind of see that?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a deeper focus on, listening to coaching points, writing down all the notes you can get, being out on the field, correct steps, correct hands, right leverage, all of the above. Yeah.
We've heard Coach Venables a lot say every week gotta rip it down to the side, start over. Is that something you guys really had to internalize with the performance like Saturday before it kind of sinks in for everybody?
Yeah, when you always hear like the same, when you're growing up, you always hear the same life lessons from your parents. You got to hear it like 3 or 4 times before you finally get it. I think that's where we're at right now, is we're being shared this wisdom and it's not clicking just yet until we go through those hard times, we go through those struggles, and we're like, man, we really need to rely on what Coach Beebe said, because he's so experienced and he's a legend. He doesn't care about reputation. I don't want to say he doesn't care about the record, because he's not here to set the record. He's here to set a standard, to apply it, and to be champions, by whatever it takes. So, yeah, we're kind of like those little kids growing up, figuring out, okay, we got to listen to mom and dad right now.
In that vein, how much different has Coach Seamus been this week?
More energized. Not that he was not energized last week, but bringing even more. He's always the same dude, but he's like, all the coaches, they said, man, the way we played out there is a responsibility on the coaches. That's how they took it. They took that ownership, and they said, we're going to change the narrative. We're going to practice harder. We're going to play harder, and that starts with us and how we coach. So, just more deliberate on passing through information, hashing it out once, twice, 3 times, writing notes, getting it to you in sheets. So, yeah, not much has changed from last week to this week. It's just being more deliberate on all the information.
Does it help a little bit to go on the road after a night like Saturday?
I don't know. I think different atmosphere, especially with conflict in the stadium here in Norman. It's good to kind of take a deep breath, get away from Norman to play. Nothing against the fans, but just the climate around here. After you lose in your hometown of high school, it's just a little mellow, and it's good to go get a good win on the road and get everybody hyped up again to be back in the Palace. So same thing.
What have you guys seen from TCU on film this week?
Super talented. They got a great quarterback. They're big and they're fast. They play similar to K-State, and it's just another challenge. We know what to expect. We know that Coach Venables has an analogy. We're climbing the mountain, right? And the further high, the longer you climb this mountain, the thinner the air is going to get. So as we're climbing higher, every game of the season, the air is getting thinner. It's going to get harder, but we're going to embrace that, keep trucking, because we know what's at the top of the mountain. So, yeah, TCU is just the next step. It's like, okay, air's going to get thinner. We gotta play harder. Got to focus some more. Yeah. Yeah, there's high expectations, high standards here, and I would say, oh, I'm so sorry. I would say we've been complimenting each other a lot in practice, and I think our just mindset going into it. Not that we underestimated K-State at all. We were definitely very ready to play, and we played hard. But it was just the fact that being undisciplined by an inch, every play makes up a lot of inches in the end, and the flags, pre-snap penalties, all those things. We weren't complimenting each other. We were having to compensate for one another, and you slip up when you try to compensate for one another. So. All of us, whole defense, I guess, had a bad day, and we didn't play to our standard, but turn that around, getting refocused, redialed in, reloading, ready to go.
what you guys will get the very next week.
I say it's a great opportunity. It's a good challenge, right? You know, we didn't deal with this so well last week, and this week we got another chance to go right at it, right? A more mobile quarterback, like let's go. A bigger challenge than last week. Let's get after it. You know, let's test ourselves, see what we're made of.
What did you do differently to kind of, especially in the passing situations where he's able to kind of scramble out of the pocket? What did you do differently to bottle that out?
We got to pass rush better. We got to be more disciplined in our pass rush and our depth, and working together as a D-line, like I said, complementing each other. Not one of us, like me, running up the field, creating a huge pocket for the quarterback to step out of, you know, when all our guys are putting on great rushes, but I screw the whole D-line up when I rush up the field, you know. So complementing each other, not being selfish, doing our job, and staying disciplined is what we need to do.
You guys had so much success the first couple of games getting pressure. What do you feel like made the difference last week that you guys just didn't get as much in that regard as you had in the first 3 games?
I think it was in preparation and practice. Again, focusing on details. You know, I'm always trying to compare it to things, because this game of football is just like real life. All the challenges you learn from it, right? All the adversity, it defines who you are and what you're made of. And like you test for exams, right? If you study that information, if you write down the good notes, right? If you read it before you go to bed, rehash on it, and you're on top of it, you're gonna make a good score on the exam. The next exam's coming up, it's coming up quick. Maybe you don't prepare so much, maybe you're stressed out, maybe fatigued, and it's like, I gotta refocus, redial in, or else that exam's gonna trip me up. And right now, it dropped our grade a little bit, but we know what we're made of. We gotta keep studying, just like in the classroom, that analogy, keep studying, keep focusing, and get right back into the next exam.
Sooner Scoop HD.